Now that you've created a minion group token and it's got your cool and vigilance or your initiative as well as a weapon on it, there's a few things you can do to make using minions a bit easier for yourself as well as for your players. Now, you can add the statistics here. You can do it manually, which is what I normally do. So for instance, let's say they have 5 wounds and they have 5 soak, because these guys are pretty beefy since they're stormtroopers. Now you'll see here that it'll show up a bar over them. Now I know, of course, wounds are in the red and blue is the soak. Now your players will actually not see any of this. Okay. Now if you want to, you can. There's two different ways to do this. I'm going to show you first off the way that I like to do this, and then I'll show you a second way for using minions so that everybody can keep track of them. So as of right now, the PCs will not see any of this information above, and this is strictly for you. Now, since minions are not ever usually by themselves, how I use it in roll20 is I will, you can control C and then you can control V and you can actually create the minions visually. Okay, so let's say there's 4 PCs. We're gonna say that they're fighting a Deveronian mercenary. Now, these minions, right, are easy to tell how many there are for the players, right? There's obviously 4 minions here, and you can always keep track of the wounds and etc. I like to do it like this. However, if you have a lot of stuff going on, right, you can obviously change the size of the minions, right, and make it so they don't take up as much space, which is probably a good call, and leave your rivals or nemesis characters a lot larger. Now, another issue that some people might have is, well, what if I've got multiple minion groups, right? You can control C, control V. Now, what I recommend and the way that I do it is I will create another minion and I will tint the color of the token, just like you would like if you had a base counter that's different in an actual physical minion, physical party, like if you're playing in real life as opposed to virtually. So you can make different minion groups, and just all you have to do is change the color in the tint here, and we're gonna have a blue group too. So then there's no more confusion on, oh well, I was shooting at this group and not the other group. So now you can have quick visualization of for the player characters, so they can say, okay, I'm going to shoot at the red group here, or I'm going to shoot at the regular white group here, or I'm going to shoot at the blue group. Likewise, since there are 4 physical minions, every time they defeat one, you just click it, hit delete, right? And if you spend a destiny point or a triumph gets spent and you need to add some more, you can just control C, control V, and all of a sudden, their reinforcements have arrived. So this method for me works really well. I'll show you how to use tokens on roll20 for what's called kind of zone combat in a different video. Now, there's another alternative method for using minions that takes up a lot less space, and that is by using these bars here to represent how many minions there are. So for instance, you're going to go into the token information here, and we're going to actually use, we're going to say there's 4 out of 4 here, and we're going to go to advanced, and we're going to let the players see bar 1. Now it says text overlay visible to editors. You want to make that visible to everyone, okay? Because what that's going to mean is that the player characters can see that there are 4 out of 4 minions in this group, right? So if they're fighting each other, you can see, okay, there's 4 minions, and I'll show you what it looks like as a player and what they see. And so now the players will notice that there is 4 out of 4. So there's 4 minions in this minion group. And this can be useful if you've got a lot of stuff going on in a kind of small area, or you want to keep the kind of just not cluttered. that's a useful way to do that. Again, I prefer the other way, but this is also an option. So if a minion is removed, right, you would just type in, -1 into this bar, and it would move them. It would move the bar down, and so then the PCs can still tell um, how many minions are in that group. If you would like to support me or you're a GM, I will recommend, of course, that you check out this product I've made for Drive-Thru RPG. It's called Skill Adventures, and it's skill challenges for any setting. And while it's technically for the Genesys Foundry and it's for the Genesys role-playing game system, um, Genesys and Star Wars FFG are essentially the exact same system with a few minor differences. And I created it with GMs in mind, not just for Genesys, which is the universal role-playing system, but specifically for Star Wars GMs as well. So for instance, you've got tons of different options in there. It's a great way to add foot chases, vehicle chases. I've got some stuff for making a duel. If you ever thought, hey, how do I have my players infiltrate a secret hidden facility or a smuggler's den? There's rules for that. It's much like skill challenges from different games, and you'll see a lot of familiarity there. But if you've ever thought about, man, how can I make travel across a desert or through this dark forest on Kashyyyk interesting? This book will help you create these adventures that you're really looking for to fill in the gaps or to add key adventures in a session. So maybe you're need some downtime and there's going to be a barroom brawl. Maybe there's going to be a gala event where they're going to try to gather information, right? I've also included information on how to do a smuggling run, which is of course extremely important for Star Wars. So it gives you some information there because even though smuggling is a huge trope of Star Wars and the Star Wars universe, there's not really great mechanics on how to run one. Uh, and so this will show you all kinds of different ways to run various adventures that work in any setting, not just Star Wars, not just fantasy. So, for instance, traveling an asteroid through an asteroid field, if you are running in Genesys, right, that could be running through a very rough patch of sea along a rocky coast, etc. There's also some role-playing activities in there as well. It's 80 pages and it's fully colored art throughout the text. If you need some skilled adventures and you're GM and you want to help me out, please check this out on Drive Through RPG. The link will be in the description below. I think that it will only help you create great adventures for your game. Thank you.